Hello and welcome back to Talon 101. This time we're going to look at right uppercut or DF2, and this move is frequently used in keep out due to its fast recovery, in neutral to keep an opponent honest, and in offense to cash out for a frame trap. That sounds like a lot for a generic move, and it wouldn't be far-fetched to call this right uppercut Hwoarang's God Fist. Now of course let's review the frame data. DF2 comes out at 15 frames, and if it hits a standing opponent, it equates to a launch. If it gets blocked, it's -7, which makes it really safe, and Hwoarang will always recover back to left foot forward. Now, I did say standing opponent. That's because if DF2 hits a crouching opponent, it doesn't launch them, and all you get are 4 frames of advantage. +4A to be exact, so that's +4 airborne, as you see Alisa try to regain her balance here after getting hit by DF2 while crouching. The only time you launch a crouching opponent is in counter hit. So that's whether you key charge to get the counter hit state, or they press the button amidst while they're crouching. Now we need to look further into +4A, because is that frames you can use? Well, just like every Hwoarang thing, not necessarily. So if I try to follow up here with DF1, it whiffs. If I try to follow up with another DF2, it whiffs. If I follow up with F1+2, it whiffs. If I follow up with highs, let's say like 1-2, it whiffs. 4-4, no dice. Same thing with 4-3, it doesn't hit at all. Lows probably could help you, right? If it hits a crouching opponent and they backdash. No, down back 4 doesn't hit there. Down back 3 doesn't hit there. Down 3-4 does not hit there. And Firecracker doesn't hit there as well. That's basically 99% of Hwoarang's move list, because big moves like DF3 would catch here, but that's a risk if they decide to press a low or grab as they backdash. So that means your best bet is something like DF4. Because DF4, homing move, it's long enough to catch most backdashes, and I only caught Alisa's backdash here because I added a slight dash before doing DF4. By itself, normally, it's not even catching at all, so even that small dash increases the risk for DF4, but it remains to be your best bet because it can catch backdash with or without the dash depending on which backdash you're fighting, and it prevents all side steps. So if Alisa decides to sidewalk left here, your homing move will prevent that sidewalk left and that sidewalk right, because the other moves like DF1 doesn't hit here, F1+2 doesn't hit here, DF2 does not hit there, your 1-2 does not hit there, your lows unfortunately are not hitting there. Again, Alisa has a stronger sidestep and a stronger backdash, so perhaps against standard or below average those moves would hit, but generally speaking, you shouldn't be banking on that. You should just cash out or remain as safe as you can in this situation. So you can either just press DF4 here, or you can just backdash, be safe, stay in place, see what their reaction is, or do a forward dash into a block. Because if an opponent decides to mash here, right? If they decide to mash at +4 airborne and you DF4, you'll lose there. So waiting, whether it be one of those 3 options, staying in place, backdashing, or dash blocking, is good. Because if they're gonna challenge here, then you can punish that. And if you did DF4 first, you're gonna force this reaction, potentially. Because now once they show that, then you can be like, okay, I know what you're gonna do, and you can counter that. So now down back 4 is a completely viable option. But that's because you force the reaction with DF4 first. So it's not exactly the best, but it is a good starting point to potentially maximize the frames when you hit a crouching opponent. The next thing to look at is, where does DF2 track? Well, generally, this move tracks towards the left, and we're going to use 3 situations. So +1, +5, and +6. So at +1, you'll catch sidestep left. At +5, you'll also catch sidestep left. And at +6, all the more. Now, if they decide to sidewalk, most especially if they have a strong sidestep, those 3 frames that I just mentioned don't work anymore. The walk just basically beats it. And going back on all the past Talon 101s, Hwoarang has a hard time catching sidestep left. And this is one of the mids in Hwoarang's arsenal that, would catch sidestep left. So it catches sidestep, not sidewalk. And it will never catch sidestep right at all. So if you put this at +1, put it at +5, and put it at +6, never catches. So If you want to use it for tracking, just remember it usually catches sidestep left. And then if they have a strong sidestep, it will not catch sidewalk left. Now, it does have a short hitbox. As you can see here, doesn't even hit Alisa at certain ranges. And if you try to like use it for frame traps, right? Like after LFS1, all right, it caught there. Do that again. It whiffed. So while you could use it for frame traps, there is a chance that not only would it get beaten by a sidestep, it could also potentially get beaten by a backdash. The last thing is what makes it really, really special. Just like what Law, what Paul, and Shaheen have, it's a safe DF2 that can beat a move if, you know, as you do it. So this is basically the aftermath, usually. And sometimes you can have your opponent a little bit farther away from you, and you're going to be asking yourself, how did that DF2 hit? Well, usually it's catching the extended hitbox of the opponent, because again, you saw DF2's hitbox by itself is short, but as an opponent extends their hitbox, they can potentially get hit by DF2. So I'm going to try to replicate this, where we get the start. Here we go. So Alisa is about to do her jab, moving it by frame, and it just whiffs both ways. So that's one. We're gonna try to get a one where Hwoarang's DF2 goes under it. This one is where he gets hit. Another try to replicate the situation. Going under. Yep. And that's what makes this such an annoying DF2. And thankfully, Hwoarang's got this. So, in short, right uppercut is a very good mid-launcher that can be used in 3 places: defense, neutral, and offense. But even in the offensive part, you need to be very careful because, wow, that's +6 and DF2 doesn't even catch the opponent there. It can lose to side steps and sidewalks, and it only really generally tracks towards one side. But again, still a quick hitting mid that instantly changes Hwoarang's future if it connects. And that's the biggest part, always changing the future. Because if that hits, you get Oki, you get momentum, and whatnot. That's so much. So again, this has been everything I know about right uppercut or Hwoarang's God Fist. Has been the lesson for this video. Again, I've been Frontier, and thank you for watching.